Hello everybody, welcome back to Dominions 5. We are playing as LA Alm in the YouTubers Dominions 5 Let's Play series. I have subbed in and this is our second episode, and I believe this is turn 22. Yes, it is turn 22. So, last episode I introduced this game to you guys, and so in the next few turns there's a lot of diplomacy going on as I'm trying to figure out who is doing what and who are my friends and who are my enemies. And also there's a lot of logistics of me bringing all my stuff around. I couldn't show you the orders that I had in the first turn that I played because I had done those on another computer. Let's go through the diplomacy first. So, message from Man. Midgard has stabbed Man in the back, and he's sending this message to Ulm and myself. So, from what I understand, the four nations, Man, Ulm, ourselves, and Midgard, were in some sort of loose coalition to fight against Miklin. And apparently Midgard has now decided that he just wanted to try to win via throne rush, is what I assume, given this situation here where he has 4 points and you only need 7 to win. So anyway, so apparently there's some infighting in the coalition. So I don't want any part of this coalition. I mean, it's clearly falling apart, and like I mentioned last time, we're not ready. We don't have the right magic. Now, this had been taken over by some indie event, so I just attacked this, but with a small army, just because to take it, why not? So just for fun, you can see, these are our giants, but this one isn't blessed. Is this one blessed? No. Anyways, even not blessed, they're pretty strong. Oh, I did bring the prophets, so yeah, now they're all now they're all blessed. So pretty good. Our regeneration and slash, blunt, and pierce resist from the fortitude. Plus they have magic weapons and 15 magic resist, which is pretty high for regular troops. So not bad. And yeah, obviously we're just gonna stomp over these undead. I think actually we might lose one guy to friendly fire. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so we take this. Meanwhile, I moved most of the troops that were here. Obviously, the mages were researching. I moved most of the troops down here because I want to get my troops together to take this throne province. Now, this... I did not take this province, or maybe it became indie this turn. I'm expecting Miklin's going to claim all this stuff, and I have no problem if he does. I just took it if we were going to go to war, why not get a foothold here? But I don't want to go to war with him. Okay, so that was that. Over here, this is also logistics. So what I'm trying to establish here is I want to move one army down in this region to take this throne and then just be active in this area. And then I want to bring some kind of army to the east here because this is a lot of heavy cav, right? And in fact, his pretender is here, the Carrion Dragon. So he's got his pretender and a ton of heavy cav on the border. So I have like 10 crossbows, or not even, right? So this is bad. This is a bad setup. Now, let's continue looking at the diplomacy. So message right from Miklin. So he's explaining, he's saying that the alliance has been falling apart against him. And so he is basically saying, the alliance we were part of is falling apart. Midgard is probably the bigger threat because he's about to throne rush. But he says, we're always willing to fight you one-on-one, which is probably what it would become if I were to, dedicate myself to fighting him. Last turn, I believe I sent him... Oh, yeah, and here he says also 91 and 76 were his, but but he is willing to let us keep it. And then 104 and 74 are his. So let's just look at that. So these are, this is 104. 74 is, let's just find it. Oh, maybe, why is he telling me about 74? That's like nowhere. Okay, well, whatever. That's a bit weird. But so in other words, he's saying this. He's claiming this one, and I have no problem. He can take this back. It's be indefensible anyways. And he was saying that these two, or 76 and what's the other one? 76 and 91. He's saying these two used to be his, but I guess Utgard took it in the war, and so he's ceding these to me. And I have either sent this turn. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'll go through what I send in. Well, no, let's do this right now. So, message to Mikland. I now have a better read on the game, and I'm ready to commit more diplomatically. So the last turn, actually, I should have showed you guys this, but the last turn I had sent a message to everybody. Geez, I really should load that up first. That's pretty. Oh, but I don't have it because I don't have it on this computer. Okay, so in the first turn that I joined, I really should have saved that message for you guys. I sent a message to everybody, which basically said, hello everybody. And I kind of role-played it a little bit, like I was some aloof administrator who'd just like taken over for the previous guy who'd been fired or something. And sort of like very much like, oh, we're the giants, all you little people, we can't tell you apart. You're all just little people to us. And sort of like basically give us a minute, we'll figure out what we got to do here. Sort of seeming very unconcerned with the fate of the world. Now with Miklan, I'm getting right down to business. So I'm telling him, I'm trying to make him scared of Midgard. Apparently he's also scared of Midgard. So I'm telling him, yeah, I'm also concerned with Midgard. My priority is to make sure there's no throne victory, and then we can deal with it later. So, and then I'm telling him, no worries, he can have that province back. And then I'm telling him, Pangaea is massing troops on my border. And what I'm worried about is that Miklan may be in cahoots with Pangaea. Because if Mikland has just been kind of withstanding attacks on three fronts, now the alliance is collapsing, I've been stale for a couple of turns during the transition, it might be a great opportunity for him to attack me. And he might have made some kind of deal with Pangaea, because Pangaea is also his neighbor, and is the only neighbor who wasn't part of this alliance against him. So it's likely that they're on very good terms. So it's quite likely that Pangaea and Miklan are about to attack me. And by the way, I still haven't heard back from Pangaea. I sent messages to everybody, and even before, by email, I sent messages to everybody on the first term before I started, just to get up to speed on Diplo, and I still haven't heard anything from Pangaea. So I'm very worried about this, and the worst would be if Miklan and Pangaea together decided to attack me. So that's why down here, I am talking about the opportunity cost for him not to go up north. So I want to really make sure that Miklan doesn't consider, because by talking about Pangaea, I might be giving him the thought, hey, maybe he should ally with Pangaea. What I'm hoping is that he sees the opportunity cost to go up north and fight Ulm and fight Miklan, while these guys are fighting each other in whatever kind of dumpster fire is going on in this area with Man and Miklan and Ulm. If they're all fighting each other, it's a great opportunity for Miklan to go up and grab some land. And I hope that that's what he does. And then I also say, like, I'm fine signing a NAP. I am quite fine signing a NAP with him. So, oh, actually, no, I do have, this is my message I sent to everybody. Okay, yeah, because I sent it to everybody, so we receive it this turn. Okay, so you can actually read the message I sent to everybody. So this is what I sent to everybody. Hello, little people. The previous king of Utgard has been promoted to the office of Vice Deputy Ice Sculptor for the Southern District. As you can imagine, this is a very exciting career opportunity for him, and he left his previous post with haste, leaving me to pick up the pieces where he left off. You'll have to forgive me while I get used to telling you small people apart. The details are so small, but I'm getting the hang of it. Some of you are sort of horse-shaped, some of you run around covered in metal, others completely naked. Seems like a waste of time to me, really, but it's a job and it pays the bills, and somebody's got to do it, right? Anyways, while I'm busy sorting out all the notes you sent my predecessor, try not to fight too much amongst yourselves. It's a bad influence on the children, makes them all want to become Gamheldings when they grow up. Those guys are insufferable. Sakane, probationary interim king of Utgard. So that's why I sent to everybody, and then I also sent out of context. Don't mind the flavor, not trying to imply anything diplomatically or otherwise. Thanks for having me in the game. Thanks to those who got back to me regarding Diplo. If you haven't, please send me a note. In particular, if you had some kind of treaty with me, I will honor those. So, good luck and have fun. So those were the messages I sent to everybody on the first turn in-game. So now everybody's getting those messages this turn, so I'm hoping I'll finally get answers from Cetis and Pangaea and Pythium and Midgard on the next turn. So that is that for diplomacy. So we're basically still freaking out because we're worried about that anybody could come attack us at any time. Now let's actually go through the rest of this. This was, I pinged the throne, right. This is the throne down here that I'm hoping to take, so I just pinged it. So it's heavy cav, so I understand why it wasn't taken in the early game, because heavy cav can be scary, but by now it should be pretty easy. Also, it's only got, this mage only has Death 1, so it's not going to be super Skele spam. This has Astral 2. I mean, there are gems, but they're not elemental guys. The scary ones are the elemental, like the fire mages that, put fire element. Oh, speaking of, okay, so he does have elemental guys. So yeah, this could be kind of nasty if you don't bring overwhelming power, but we will bring overwhelming power, so it won't be a problem. Unexpected events. Lost tax, lost population, that's too bad. And we bought a pile of mercs. Because remember, we had 5,000 gold, so we have been on a spending bonanza. All right, one of the things we're doing is we're making magical items. So I have made some Shrouds of the Battle Saint. These are cursed, so they stick onto the guy. But for now and for a long time, I'm not going to have anything good to put in the chest slot of these guys, because I don't have like Construction 6 or Earth for Armor of Knights. And just like the gems, right now I seem to have Death and Astral in fairly decent supply, and I'll have some Blood. So if you look at things that, like at the chest pieces that I can make, there isn't much that's gonna give me good protection. I can go Ethereal for 10 Astral. That's kind of expensive. We want like cheap stuff. So there actually really is nothing. So why not give them our Bless for 5 Astral Gems, which gives them, it doesn't give them protection, but by giving them Fortitude, it actually makes them much tougher. So I have forged some of these, and then I made a Ring of Water Breathing because I am planning to go grab this Underwater Province, and if I can, also this Underwater Province, with just one of those Scrotty thugs. They can just take indies very easily. We already had these Vine Shields and Frost Brands. I forget if I made another one. Maybe I forged another one. And also, I've been making some Wraith Swords. So if I had good nature income, I would put a one hand with a Vine Shield on all of these guys. But I don't have enough nature gems, and I have a bunch of death gems. So a Wraith Sword is a decent alternative. It means you're very weak defensively, so it's not a great idea to just go send the men alone as a thug, but it does give them, but as a thug that's accompanying an army, it's a very good weapon because it has partial life drain, so it adds to the regeneration potential, and it gives them a bit of attack and defense. And we have the death gems, so it's another kind of cheap option. But Vine Shield is much better. I just don't have a lot of nature gems. So we're forging a lot of those weapons. Now, in terms of recruitment, let's take a look at what we've got going here. Okay, so these are my only 2 forts with temples. So I need to be prioritizing recruiting these sacred commanders, especially this commander and this guy for blesses, because these are my only castles that can recruit them. And honestly, I don't want to spend money building temples elsewhere. I don't need to. By the way, our dominion is our scales are 2 sloth, which is fine because our sacred, like, I understand why the build was like this, because in the early game, assuming you're recruiting sacreds, they take almost no resources, so you can totally get away with that. So I understand that choice. 3 cold, 3 growth, some misfortune, and some drain. Now, and some amount, I guess he took 7 or 6 dominion to be able to recruit a bunch of these guys. So I get the high dominion. That's okay. Misfortune is fine, especially because all of our researchers are fortune tellers. I don't know if growth 3 makes a lot of sense because we have these old mages. So I get that. However, this strikes me as a very fast game. Research is set to fast. 7 points to win is asking for a throne rush. And the Cataclysm is like really soon. It's in like 2 years. Cataclysm is like year 4 or something like that. So the growth, like long-term growth scales, is not going to pay off in a game like this. So I think you could have saved points here and put it elsewhere is sort of my feeling on this. But anyways, this is what we have. So we have 3 recruitment points per turn here, so we're making one of these commanders, one of these guys. And we also, we're spending money, we're getting more of these indie crossbowmen. In this fort, we're recruiting some Scrotty. Over here, we're recruiting some Scrotty and apparently some more chaff for some reason. I guess I was really afraid of what was going to come hit me here. In the cap, we're just recruiting our sacreds and the cap mages, and I had also some extra chaff being recruited. And down here, I don't have a lab here for some reason, so we're bringing mages down to build a lab. In the meantime, we're just making scouts, and also I'm making scouts, and many of these provinces can recruit scouts, so we're recruiting scouts all over the place. We have also purchased these 3. Not barbarians. What are they called? Mercenaries. We have these 3 mercenaries, just chaff, but we'll use them to take. This next turn. I could have sent this here and probably won, but they're just mercs. And honestly, these are just militia. They rout after anything. These are pretty strong, but they have heavy cav and mages and stuff like that, magic support. So this would probably not be enough. So I'm grouping my stuff together here next turn. So let's look at what we're going to have. We're going to have a few sacreds, the mercenaries, and just with these sacreds, it'll be enough to take this on. And that's it. Finally, we are... let's see, what else is going on? Well, yeah, we're just, most of this is just logistics, honestly, so there's not much going on. Oh, and we're building giant castles. So we're starting to upgrade our forts to the 3 command point forts. So we've started here. I mean, there are 2 upgrades that need to be done. So we started the first one, and we started here. So we're doing 3 of them, I think. What about this one? No, this one's already done. So in all 3 of these places, we've started the upgrades. Because we just had a ton of money lying around, so might as well put it to good use. So that's it. That is it for this turn. I probably forgot to say some really important things, but that's okay. I'll never remember them, but if I do, I'll tell you about them in the next episode. See you guys then. Take care.